Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and this time around it's Mega Man 4, brought to us by Capcom. Now, of course, I wanted to look at the box arts first, and this is the American box art. And as you can see, Mega Man's clearly represented. You can tell who he is. There's Pharaoh Man in the upper left corner, which is awesome. The only thing I'm not quite sure about it is the fact that there's like the planets, like Jupiter and Saturn, it looks like, in the upper left corner. This is the Japanese box art. Of course, you can see all the characters. They look like their forms. Dr. Kozak's castle in the background, and I like the fact that Mega Man's actually shooting Dive Man in the face, which is absolutely awesome, because I really don't like Dive Man that much. I would usually show, of course, the European box art as well, but for whatever reason, Capcom Europe decided to just use the American box art for the European box art, so there's no third box art to really look at. We actually start off with a storyline going in. Of course, the beginning of Mega Man 2 had a storyline. Mega Man 1 didn't really have anything at the beginning. Mega Man 3 really kind of went right in, and it had storyline as the game went on. And now in 4, we start off with a big storyline. It's talking about, of course, city and it's being destroyed, and there's chaos in the world. And of course, they show you that Rock, aka Mega Man, volunteers to help save the world to get converted into a robot, as you're going to see. He didn't know what to do. Rock having, and of course you have to have a long pause as you see that. And then you see there is Rock, or Mega Man, a strong sense of justice, volunteered to be converted into a fighting robot. Thus, the super robot Mega Man was born. Like nice little flashings. Actually, really nicely drawn animations and all, but this was later in the NES run, so it was more expected that those games after like 1990 started to get much more cinematic, and you could really do a lot more with the animations and the artwork and such. So, but still, really nicely done, especially hair animation and all that for the 8-bit era. Looks really well done, especially in this game. World peace has been maintained so far, but history repeats itself. Dr. Kozak, a mysterious scientist, has invented 8 powerful robots and sent them after Mega Man. Mega Man starts for the battle again. This time equipped with the powerful new Mega Buster, clearly named Mega Buster in this one. Of course, I refer to it as that probably in every video I've done of this, but arm cannon, hand cannon, whatever, it is the Mega Buster, especially in this game, so I can rightfully call it that. And here's the title screen, you see the helmet. Okay, here we go, and just like always, I drew them at random for this, and I got Dustman to start it off, which himself, Dustman's actually really, really easy. I have, one of the easier robots, not the easiest. I think Toadman's the easiest, and I think he's legitimately considered the easiest. But we're going to start off with Dustman stage, and of course it's in a big giant garage, because he's a garbage compactor. Even though he's called Dustman, he's more or less Garbage Man. He takes garbage and crushes it into tiny little cubes. That's it. That's his main function or whatever as a robot. So. Of course, as you saw in the beginning, it said Dr. Kozak. Of course, really not mentioned other than Wily had already been defeated. Wily's been destroyed. We think by now, after 3 games already, this being the 4th game, that we finally are rid of Dr. Wily. And of course, peace has been restored. Dr. Wily's dead, and now only, of course, a new menace would show up to, of course, combat Mega Man and stop world peace, and that being Dr. Kozak in this game. Of course, as we're going to find out, there's a lot of twists and turns, or a little bit of twists and turns in this game as we'll go through it. And it's another one of those things, when you think it's the end, when you think you finally reached the end, they tack on a whole bunch more levels, and Mega Man is quite good at doing that. As you just saw Flip Top, or Eddie, give me an item there. Eddie is placed throughout multiple levels in Mega Man 4. He gives you various things, whether or not be a big health boost, or a big item boost, or an extra life. I don't think he gives you energy tanks, unless it's so low-scale percentages that I did not get a single one while playing through the course of Mega Man 4, the multiple times, my practicing and all that. They try to get good at Mega Man 4, but I'm pretty damn good at Mega Man 4. It's one of my better ones, considering this was my second Mega Man I ever played as a kid. Mega Man 2 being the first, and of course my favorite, which is, a lot of people's favorite is Mega Man 2, but Mega Man 2 was my first, this was my second. I skipped Mega Man 3 for a while and didn't get it until way after I got Mega Man 2, actually. I picked up, I remember picking it up from a KB Toys bargain bin, picking up Mega Man 3. And I remember getting Mega Man 2 for, I think, a Christmas, and a Mega Man 4 for a birthday. I also got Mega Man 5 and 6 in subsequent Christmases and birthdays, as far as I remember. I got one of them the same time I got my SNES, which was right when it launched, so it may have been 4 I got that Christmas for SNES. I'm not really sure if that was that year or not. Once you get a certain age, you start forgetting what Christmases and what holidays and birthdays you got things for. All I know is I got them for a Christmas or a holiday. I remember one year I got Abadox on the NES, and I've always loved that game because I got it for Christmas. Okay, enough reminiscing for me. Let's talk about Mega Man, obviously, right? That's why you're watching this video. Here we go with Dustman, and Dustman's really easy. There's a pretty simple strategy of defeating Dustman. Of course, I'm just going to be defeating him with the Mega Buster, not using any of the items against him. He shoots out giant dust boxes, dust cubes, or garbage cubes, and don't move when he throws them at you. Just stand in place, and then when they're coming at you, jump straight up, just straight up in the air, and they'll break apart in a spread shot, as you can see, and they'll just go in separate directions, and they will not hit you. After a bunch of these, if you can get him in a loop stuck and he'll keep doing it for a while, just keep blasting him, charging up and blasting him. He also, of course, does that sucking ability where, he's bringing you towards him, trying to do damage, but if you run away, you'll never get caught, as long as you hold in the opposite direction that he's trying to suck you in from. Either way, after only a minute or two, Dustman is defeated, and we have beaten the first Robot Master in Mega Man 4. Mega Man 4 is easily the largest of the Mega Man games, or longest, Mega Man games that I've done in this month, which has been my absolute favorite month, I must say, so far of doing these videos, because I love Mega Man, I love doing these games, so it's been really fun getting to play them, especially for these videos, and so, of course, I hope you have enjoyed Mega Man's, all the Mega Man runs before this, that I've done 1, 2, and 3, and I hope you're enjoying this one, and maybe, hopefully in the future we'll get to see more Mega Man games if these, of course become if people like them, of course I'll do more Mega Man games in the future. And we're going to go with number 2 is going to be Ringman, who I must admit I have a little bit of difficulty against. Usually usually Ringman likes to kick my butt around a little bit. For defeating Dustman, we got his weapon, and I could have used Ringman's ability to actually defeat Dustman, which would have been useful. When we get to Ringman, his weakness officially is Pharaoh Man's weapon, which we don't, of course, have Pharaoh Man's weapon yet, so I wouldn't be able to use it anyway, I wouldn't be using it even if I had it. Pharaoh Man is my personal favorite Robot Master, and I'll talk about him obviously more when we actually get to Pharaoh Man stage, which if I'm looking at my list, won't be for a while at least. So, we continue on during Ringman stage, and it's getting darker here, and I hate these things. These are giant purple hippo on a platform. I don't know their official robot name, but I call them giant purple hippo on a platform, which I think is correctly named because it, of course, is in fact a giant purple hippo sitting on a platform. He does like to belch out lots of mini missiles at me, which are the most annoying part, because you have to destroy his platform, and they keep regrowing, and when you get him down low, you actually can do damage to him. I'm sure I could use items to officially do a lot more damage and beat this a lot quicker, but I want to just use the Mega Buster on it, and that's why it's taken me a while, and of course I'm taking a lot of damage, unfortunately, as well. Hopefully I can get my health back up before I actually have to do battle with Ringman, or else that's going to be a fun battle to deal with. Okay, there goes giant fat purple hippo on a platform number 1. Destroy the planet Saturns, the little mini planet Saturns that are kind of floating around. It's like, I could get that item, but I'm afraid I'll get hit just as much, so it really wouldn't be worth my time to grab it. Destroy that Saturn there. Work my way down. Here's another little mini boss in this stage. It's the it's a Slunky. It's a giant Slunky. Let's just leave it at that. is if a Slinky could somehow shoot out its slinks, or whatever you would call them, shoot them out, and retract them, this is pretty much what he would do all the time. If there was an evil Slinky in the world, it'd be that guy. And after defeating evil Slinky, we go back to giant purple hippo on a platform. Yeah, we have another one of these things to deal with, which of course are going to kick my butt just as bad as the first one did. Hopefully I can do better at it, but the jumping and shooting gets on my nerves. I don't like this level. This is probably why I don't like Ringman so much, because I hate his level. It's one of the more difficult levels for me to do. I think in all Mega Man games. Unless you know, except for ones with horrible, horrible jumps, which are some of the ones in, like, Mega Man 1, for example. This is probably one of my least favorite levels in terms of the enemies. The random amounts of enemies that I have to deal with. And returning is the Rush Coil, of course, as well as the Rush Jet and the Rush Marine are all back in full force. As I'm going to go up here to grab Eddie, and oh good, Eddie actually gave me a health boost. You know, I actually got lucky enough. Most of the time he seemingly gives me an item boost when I don't want one. Of course, when I have full items, he's going to give me an item boost. When I have full health, usually that's when he gives me health, not when I actually need health. So I got lucky on that one. So we'll continue over, and now we have these fun little platforms to deal with, which aren't that hard. As you're running across them, just jump over them. Jump over to the next side right when you're about to hit the edge, and you should be able to catch on to the next part. There we go. Jump up, shoot Saturn. Work my way over. We should be coming up to the end relatively soon. It can't be that much more in this level. I think we got another Slinky to deal with first. I think. Running myself over here and drop down. So reach the button. Hey, look, there's another Slinky to deal with. And the best way, of course, to shoot him is, as soon as he shoots out his chains, you have to directly fire into his eyeballs. A couple of supercharged shots are good enough to fully take out evil Slinky, and by defeating him, we now actually get to do battle, finally, with Ringman. It was a pretty long stage, actually. And considering, in like some of the other stages in the Mega Man games previous to this one, this actually is a pretty decently long stage. Now here we go with Ringman, who fires out rings. I don't think that came as a shock to anyone in particular, that Ringman would fire rings out. He fires them out, and then of course he retracts them right back in like a boomerang, so that's why they're really a pain in the butt for me to dodge. Of course, if you run into him, like I have several times so far during the course of this battle, oh, come on. I'm not going to die on Ringman, am I? One more hit, one more good hit, come on. Oh, come on, there we go. Ringman's defeated. But of course, as he shoots at those rings and retracts them, you got to be really, really quick on the jump. Having Pharaoh Man's ability would do a lot of damage and take him out really quickly and make him a heck of a lot easier. But the Mega Buster gets the job done, at least for now. Okay, we get to see the nice little graphic. I actually really like this graphic of you getting the items. You know, of course, it's pretty much been in all of them, but I like the way just the Mega Man turns in like a semi-3D style thing, and you get to see the color change with his actual helmet and all. So I think it's pretty nicely done. Coming up next, it's going to be a great battle with Drill Man. Oh, fun for Drill Man. If I had Dive Man's ability, he would go a lot easier. So I thought I would mention, in case you don't already know, the weaknesses for each robot. I think I pretty much did a decent job at mentioning them in the other videos. I'm sure I forgot to at some point just because I get sidetracked while talking and playing the game. I don't remember all the time to mention fully the different ones, as I'm destroying one of these giant robots there. There we go. Having the Charge Buster really changed everything in Mega Man, because some people, you either love or hate the Mega Buster. Some people, like, really didn't like the Mega Buster just because it changed a lot of the elements they, of course, were used to, and made some things, I guess, easier in the Mega Man series, so people weren't really happy by the addition of the Mega Buster, while others really liked it, especially if you probably played this one first, and then went ahead and back and played Mega Man 3, 2, and 1. You would probably wonder why in the heck you couldn't charge your weapon, because it probably became such a part of your playing that any game previous to this one, you weren't quite sure what to do and had to really adjust, or you just ended up not liking the Mega Man games that came before this one, and then, you know, it's pretty much the opposite way of thinking for those who played the originals and then played this one. They're just like, well, that just makes it easier. That's unnecessary. Why did they do that? So I'm going to grab out my rush coil here in order to try to get this energy tank up here. There we go. Got an energy tank. First one of this game, and I probably will need to use at least one, maybe two during the course of the run, just like I had to do with Mega Man 3, and I had to use the one in Mega Man 2, but hopefully I don't have to use much more than that, just because, like I said, I'm better at this one than I am at Mega Man 3, but Ringman kicked my butt, so that's really not a good thing to go on yet. These rocks are falling from the ceiling. Of course, the Mega Buster itself would become a staple, I think, just, after this one in particular, because the X series, when that started on the SNES, we started to see the Mega Buster all the time. The Mega Buster became a regular part, and it evolves to a ridiculous point. I mean, to the fact that when you charge it all the way up, and on the later Mega Man X games in particular, I'm sure even in some of the Mega Man X, Z, ZX, or Mega Man Zero games, whichever ones we're on now. I think, we're on ZX Advent, I think is the newest actual Mega Man game. I'm sure you can charge up your gun to a ridiculous amount and shoot some super humongous blast out. I mean, I just remember seeing it as it evolved in the different games, that the blasts became more and more ridiculous as the game went on. Here is Drill Man, who's really, really easy. He fires straight-out drills that explode, which are really easy to dodge, and then he drills himself into the ground, which, when he's drilling himself into the ground, for whatever reason, you can't hurt him. He's, like, invulnerable for a few seconds as he drills himself into the ground. Like, right there, I wouldn't have been able to hit him. The thing about it is, just keep moving on the floor, and be prepared, because at any moment, Drill Man may pop up and smack you, and he will do a lot of damage when he comes out of the ground, you're standing above him. He'll end up taking a good chunk of your health out. He's almost done here. We got, like, one more hit. There it is, and there we go. Drill Man is taken care of, and we are now 3 Robot Masters down in Mega Man 4. The good thing is, unlike Mega Man 3, they didn't take all the robots from Mega Man 3 and re-implement them into Mega Man 4. So we don't. After we defeat all the 8 Robot Masters, we actually get to move on to, in this case, Dr. Kozak. I say Kozak, however you pronounce it. We actually go to his castle right away instead of having to deal with doing the other levels that we've already done, but with Mega Man 3's bosses. We actually don't have to do that. We also are getting the Rush Jet for winning this battle, being Drill Man, which is a very, very useful weapon, which I will be using throughout this run. More than likely, anytime you see disappearing blocks, because if you've watched the other videos, you know I hate disappearing blocks. So, with that being a factor, as soon as I see them, I will more than likely be pulling out my Rush Jet or Rush Coil or anything that will help me get past even easier. Now here we go with Brightman's stage, and Brightman's fun. His level, of course, he would have something to do with lighting, obviously, I would hope. And as you can see from this beginning part, they try to make it a little bit challenging with the whole, if you shoot the light bulb, you lose light, and then the other guys shoot little fireworks out of the top of their head, and by doing so, they actually turn the lights back on. We got weird totem pole enemies. I wonder if they were originally, as they made them, did they, think about the future when we actually would have a Native American themed robot in Tomahawk Man that would come in Mega Man 6, which is, I think, clearly the weirdest lineup of Robot Masters that we ever saw in the Mega Man franchise. I think would definitely come in Mega Man 6 with Centaur Man and Tomahawk Man and Yamada Man. It just, wow. And then we have Flame Man, who kind of looked like, an Indian, with a turban and everything. So it's like a lot of weird ethnicity kind of things, stereotype type things going on in Mega Man 6. As I actually don't have to go down to this portion of the level, but I am because I wanted to grab an extra life, which I really shouldn't need, but an energy tank, another very, very crucial energy tank, because I have to make these very, very long jumps to get back across, and now I'm going to have to pull out my Rush Coil to jump up to this platform back up here, and to climb back up the ladder and actually be able to continue the level. But it's like a secret area that you don't have to do optional, but since it gives you an energy tank, it may of course be worth checking out when you do anytime you play the game. Plus, it's really easy to get through. The only things are there's jumps, there's long jumps that are a little difficult, but if you have the Rust Jet at this point, you can just use that to fly right back across the whole level. As we kill more totem pole style enemies. Jumping across, and now we're on another grasshopper and more totem pole. It's kind of a weird setup here. We have spikes on the ground, totem pole style robots, and grasshoppers bouncing on spikes. I'm really not quite sure about the whole level design of this stage. The beginning made perfect sense with the light bulb and turning on the lights robots, and then we go into grasshoppers. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure. Of course, this part is hard, but even in the dark, you can still see where you have to jump because of the platforms that move, so at least they made it easier to get around this area. And of course, you want to quickly watch out for any projectiles that would knock you off your platform. Once you get over to the other side, of course, there's another guy to light up the room again. As I'm following these bullets all the way across the screen. Okay, now we're in the boss area, and we get to go one-on-one with Brightman. Here we go, there he is. Of course, he has a light bulb on his head, appropriately at least. Very slow charge up of the health in this game. I don't know why they decided to slow up the health charge, but he actually is, of course, pretty easy. He has that he shoots a 3-shot spread shot as his main terms of weapons, and then he, freezes you, kind of like Flash Man from Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2. And, thing is, though, I think you can't get out of it until he hits you. Which is unfortunate, because he does a large amount of damage, of course, and the only reason why he's being able to do so much damage to me is because he's actually been able to hit me with it. One more hit. There we go. Brightman is defeated. If we actually had Toadman's Flash Rain to use against him, it would have done a lot more damage, and he would have been dead in just a few quick seconds, but the Mega Buster does another decent job. I had less trouble with him than I did with Ringman, I think. As we'll get to see me get the ability for defeating the great and wonderful Brightman. You got Flash Stopper. I turned purple, even though he was like a weird orangish color. For whatever reason, Mega Man turns purple. Just, one of those great Mega Man color oddities that go on. Okay, next up. Okay, not fun. It's Dive Man. Yay, Dive Man. He's really not that hard, but for whatever reason, I either do one of two things against him. I either destroy him quickly before he even does a single thing of damage to me, or I get my butt utterly handed to me and barely come out winning. Barely. And you'll see one or the other during the course of this one. Maybe both, because you actually have to fight him twice, because of course there is this one, and then in the boss rush later in the game, I'll have to do battle with Dive Man once again. I really like the Matools, the scuba diving Matools in this level. I guess they knew that Matools were actually a pretty popular character, because of course they made them in all kinds of different forms throughout Mega Man, and we've seen helicopter Matools in games, and we have scuba diving Matools, and ones that ride bulldozers, and actually one of the end bosses of one of the castle stages in this game is a giant Matool. This is quite funny, as we have a giant purple whale who shoots out large missiles, even larger than the missiles that the giant purple hippo on a platform would throw at us. As I take a very, very quick drink, trying to make it over, and of course with a water-based stage, you have to get used to that whole gravity thing as we meet up with Eddie again, who gives us another big item health thing, even though I actually pretty much have full health, so there we go. Working my way over, big giant robot. I'm just going to slide underneath him without having to deal with it. Move down here, and continuing on back into another whole patch of water, which is fun, except this time the water level is changing. So we have to be very, very careful about not hitting spikes, and of course, as soon as you jump out of the water, you fall like a brick back down to the ground. So you always, of course, may want to wait until the water is at its fullest before you decide to make a jump. As we do battle with another giant purple whale, or a bluish. He's kind of bluish a little bit, but he's like a lighter purple color, depending upon, I guess, your color settings on your TV or your monitor. You would see maybe he would be a different shade of blue or purple, depending upon what you have your color set as. As I work my way over, watch out for these bombs that explode when you get near them. They're always fun to deal with. Work my way over, and of course we have a whole bunch of these, but the water level has decided to stay at its fullest. No more like high tide and low tide changing all the time. As we enter into Dive Man's level. Here we go with a ton of fun. Here's Dive Man. As his health likes to fill up very, very slowly as we eagerly anticipate the battle. He, of course, charges at me, which is pretty easy to jump with. But the problem with it is, if you jump too high, while trying to dodge things such as the missiles he likes to shoot out as well, as you're coming back down like I just did, I end up running into him because I couldn't fall on the ground fast enough because of the anti-gravity that's going on in the water. And as you can see, he's kicking the crap out of me pretty much. But, come on, there we go. Dive Man is dead. I didn't die, so I guess that's a victory no matter what you look at it. So far, for a game that I usually do really good at, I'm really stinking it up today. I'm getting my butt kicked by a lot of these guys. Hopefully, though, on my easiest robots, I haven't even gotten a chance to fight yet, hopefully on them, I really get to show something, because I usually kick the crap out of some of these other robot masters that we haven't gotten a chance to actually do battle with. But we will be starting now to do battle with them, because hey, we got 3 left, and actually they're 3 of my favorites. So here we go with Skullman to start it off. One of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song, from Mega Man 4, easily. And Skullman, he's not my favorite Robot Master, because that easily goes to Pharaoh Man in this game. But the distinction he has over most other things is he has pretty much the same exact ability as Woodman from Mega Man 2. Except, of course, instead of a leaf shield, he has a skull barrier, which is, of course, the exact same thing, except little skulls are floating around you. So, kind of an interesting thing. They kind of had to start repeating skills, because when you have someone like Skullman, who has a really cool design, and he has a really nice level with all the bones and all set up, an awesome song and everything, then you come to think of it, you're like, well, we've done all this level's awesome, and then you're like, well, what the hell abilities can we give Skullman? Does he just throw bones at you? I mean, what does Skullman do? And they decided that giving him Skull Barrier would be the absolute best thing for Skullman to have. So, he has Skull Barrier. So I work my way over, and of course these guys are fun to deal with, the guys with the turbo little things on their backs, and as they turn behind you, as they start facing the other direction, that's when you can jump up and blast a whole bunch of quick shots into them as we meet up with Eddie, the flip top again, who gives me a big health boost, even though I have full health. Good job, Eddie. That was very useful. Yes, that was definitely very, very useful. So I'm going to climb all the way up here, work my way over, past all these giant skull type. They have like a skull in their front, but as you can see, there's an eye in the back, or whatever, vice versa. And the whole point for coming up here is similar to that whole area I went to in Brightman Stage to get the extra energy tank at the bottom over here. Another pretty easy, simple to get energy tank. Grab that and work my way back over. Destroy little caterpillar style robots that somehow form and fall from the ceiling. The good thing is, though, in this one you actually have a ladder at the opposite side, so you don't have to backtrack, get back down that other ladder and work your way over. You actually can just go down here and continue on the stage. Work my way over and jump up and kill a random skeleton. And jump up, and these guys, if you shoot them with a single blast, they just collapse and they rebuild themselves. But when you do a charge-up shot to them, they actually fully die instantly, and they disappear. So the only way to really kill them is by doing a full-blown charge-up, max-charged shot. As we enter the domain of Skullman. Here we go with Skullman stage. Or Skullman's boss. Whatever. He fires a bunch of randomly placed shots, which are really easy to dodge, actually, and then he's doing his actual skull barrier, which he doesn't fire at us like Relief Shield. It would have been probably cooler if he actually fired it at us, but for the most part, he jumps, does his little skull barrier, which does, nothing unless you're standing near it, he runs towards you or comes at you, and then he fires his random bullets, which are really easy to dodge. And he keeps repeating the process till, of course, you've drained all his health and completely taken him out. Boom. There's that final blast, and now we have taken out the great mighty Skullman. I like the fact that I'm green. I'm glowing neon green here, like I'm radioactive or something, as I get my ability while being radioactive. Quite funny, actually. As we get to see Mega Man turn, face the direction of the right area of the screen, and he gets to see you got Skull Barrier, which we turn turquoise. What the heck is up with the colors, I swear. We should be turning like a white, black, gray, something, you know, but instead we turn turquoise. Okay, now we have 2 Robot Masters left to go, and we start off with Toadman, who's actually one of the easier Mega Man bosses in this game, if not the easiest. He's kind of like the equivalent of Flash Man or Top Man in Mega Man 4. He's pretty much the easiest of the Robot Masters, and his stage is a little bit of a pain, though, just because you're dealing with, of course, these really, really high winds, like hurricane force winds, as you're trying to make your jumps, so you're being, like, sent backwards while you're on this outside area, so everything's a little hard to make. And with birds flying at you and other things trying to hit you as well, the jumps have to be precise, and if you get hit in midair, you're more than likely falling right down a pit. So, of course, you have to time everything very particular. Work my way over, giant bird again. Continue over, and now we get the drop down. And now we are actually inside the building, so we don't have any more of that horrible jumping we have to deal with. Instead, we have currents that are in the water, so even more fun. So we gotta make our jumps, and the water's pulling you while you're standing on the ground in whatever direction the water is flowing, so another one of those challenging jump type things that we have to deal with through the course of this run. Random slime-like creature as it fell from the ceiling there. Work my way down. And now we have the mini-boss of Toadman stage. The snail with the eyes that you shoot. For whatever reason, this snail can actually eject its eyes and throw them out at you, and then they'll retract back into his head. He also likes to throw random bombs at you as well. Yes, his only 2 attacks, of course, shoot him when his eyes are open, to deal a good amount of damage. And once he's taken out, we got the easier one done. We actually have another one of those snails coming up later on, just a little bit actually. In fact, I think this is it. Yep, here we go with the second snail. Same thing as before, except we decide to throw his eyes out first instead of shooting a bomb at us. Jump up and shoot when possible, charge up your shots, and do more damage, obviously. I just got hit by one of his bombs. Damn, move away. The currents are hard to control the jumping, so it's a little bit of a pain there. Work my way back over, and hey, we actually have water to deal with. So I'm going to jump over if I can get past the giant fish. Fly over, jump over even more, kill giant fish. Useless fish, actually. Actually, I think they're the exact same fish that were like in Mega Man 2 or 3, one or the other. I think we saw those exact same fish, except I think they were a different color. I think that was the only difference between the 2 fish, is that they were different colors. Okay, here we go with Toadman. Toadman, just stand close to him, because as long as you remain close to Toadman, he'll just keep jumping. He will not do anything else other than jump. And if you keep charging your shot and fire, duck underneath of him, slide underneath of him, run away from him, do whatever you need to do, just keep avoiding him from falling on your head and crushing you, because he's quite a heavy toad. And keep doing that, and he'll be dead within a small amount of time. It takes a good amount of regular blaster shots to take him out, but since he's so easy, it's more or less just taking the time than the actual difficulty of being able to do so. One more hit, and boom. There is the end of Toadman. 7 Robot Masters down, and now only 1 left to go in Mega Man 4. So we get the ability there as it floats around us and goes inside of our body, and we fly up, and now we get to see us obtain our great item from Toadman, which you got, Rain Flush. And hey, we turn green. At least it kind of makes sense, right? And by doing so, we got the Rush Marine. Woot. And with the Rush Marine, if I actually had it during Toadman stage, we could have easily gotten through some of that little fish area because we would have been able to swim through it, but the Rush Marine is pretty much a novelty item. You only really need it. You use the Rush Coil and the Rush Jet much more than the Rush Marine throughout the Mega Man series. And here we go with my absolute favorite Robot Master from this game. This is Pharaoh Man. He was my favorite as a kid, probably just because I was really big into Egypt for a little while. I had a lot of books on mummies and tombs, and I was reading about the mummy curses, and I've always been into that. Anytime they have one of those stupid Egyptian tomb discovery shows where there's like the first time ever opening the tomb, and what will we find? And they end up finding nothing. I'm a complete sucker for those. I will watch every last minute of those shows in particular. Because I'm like, oh come on, give me something cool for once. I've watched like 4 of these shows or whatever. I watched at least 3 or 4 of these shows now that have aired during the whole course of time. Probably watched one of them twice, just because I think it was a repeat, and I didn't really realize it was a full-blown repeat until like 20 minutes in or something. And of course, any of the stuff on History Channel, anything to do with mummies in Egypt, I will watch. So that's probably why I like Pharaoh Man so much. But he's my favorite from this one, just like Woodman and Top Man and Iceman probably from Mega Man 1 are my favorites. So I jump up here to grab an energy tank. There's actually another item I could grab in this thing, but I'm just gonna skip it because it really is absolutely unnecessary. And it's called like the balloon item, and it's a hidden item. It's actually in this stage, but I'm just skipping it just because it does nothing that helps me, and it's just gonna add on a couple extra things to the video. And I decided in the end when doing this, I was just gonna, you know what? I'm just going to skip the balloon item. All it really does is make a little extra platform that I can jump onto to help me get through areas, but with items like the Rush Coil and the Rush Jet, there is really absolutely no need to grab the balloon item, so I decided in the end just to skip it, so I'm technically not 100%ing the game. Unfortunately, I'm sure someone has a video out there where not only did they 100%, of course they got the balloon item, so if you really desperately want to see the balloon item, I'm sure there is somebody who's gotten it at least at some point. And if there's such a high demand for it, I will go back and make a small video edit, and I will put my own video, I will put another small video up of me just grabbing the balloon item and using it. So if you really want to see it, request it on my comments or send me a message or something, and I will take the time to make a special video just for grabbing that in this game. Okay, here we go with Pharaoh Man, who's gonna hit me right off the bat twice, at least, if not more. There we go. Okay, now that we're on this platform, it's really easy. Because he charges up his shot, and right when you can see it, like the particles coming in towards him, like he's pulling in some kind of spirit bomb or something from Dragon Ball Z. And as it gets close to him, he then fires out the giant blast at you, the like big wave thing. And so you can tell exactly when you need the jump. So just dodge them. Of course, don't get landed on by them. And Pharaoh Man actually ends up being pretty easy, especially considering you can shoot him the whole time he's charging up that spirit bomb. Just imagine, so it's like all the time in Dragon Ball Z that takes like 6 episodes for Goku to charge up the spirit bomb, and just seriously like Mega Man to just come in and shoot him in the face or something. It's like, god damn it, continue on! People from other series that have nothing to do with you are getting mad at how long it took for you to make a goddamn spirit bomb. Either way, we get the Pharaoh shot for beating Pharaoh Man. We turn red. For whatever reason, we don't turn yellowish, brown, or whatever. We turn that. Anyway, there is Dr. Kozak, and here we go with Dr. Kozak's castle. The big giant, and of course he's like a Russian-type character, and we have like a Russian-style castle. Looks similar to the course of the thing, you know, buildings from Russia. And if you want another video game term, look at Tetris, for example. Nintendo's Tetris has, of course, a Russian-style building, just like that, with those types of tops. I forget exactly the correct name, but has those types of things on the cover of Tetris for the NES by Nintendo. Maybe I think Tengen's copy did too. So pick up a Tetris game and you'll probably see one. Either way, here we go with a snowy style level to start off Dr. Kozak's stage, and just like all the other ones, the castle stages are in this one I think they're actually a pretty decent length. I don't think they're as long as the Robot Master stages, but the amount of time it takes to beat all of them ends up being about the same amount of time. It's actually like playing a complete half and half game. You play the first half, you defeat all the Robot Masters, and then you pretty much got another whole half of a game when you have to go through the castle here to go one-on-one with Dr. Kozik. As I defeat a random skull enemy, and of course you can see the Russian-style background there with various Russian-style buildings, and some of them are a little questionable in shape, especially there's ones I'm seeing in the background there, but this is a children's show. Oh wait, no it's not. But I still will not discuss the shape and all of what's going on in the background there. Seriously, it's starting to remind me of the cover of The Little Mermaid or something, like the way these castles are drawn in the background there. Kind of disturbing in a way, but now that we're in the sky and we can see nothing but darkness, which I assume is the sky, no little stars or anything, but since we're up here, I guess we are over the buildings and no longer can we see them, so I guess that's probably a good thing. Is that now we are actually in stars, which kind of look a little bit weird, like they're little tiny dust particles kind of floating around. Not quite sure what they're doing exactly, but they are there in full force. Grab an item boost there, work my way over. Take out my rush thing there. Wait for this trap to close on me and go up. There's another little item boost, which I really don't need at this point. Work my way over again. Watch out for the claw. And there we go, up to the top. Big giant robot to take out. Or slide underneath if I can. Here we go. Okay, come on guy, you knew you wouldn't jump over me. Ah, well. I killed him before he had a chance to jump over me. And now we get to enter Dr. C's Robot Master stages, or boss stages. We have to deal with the giant butterfly robot first. Or moth style robot, but he's a butterfly or a moth. Look at it. That's exactly what it looks like. And he has like a weird drill on the bottom of it that will shoot out and destroy my platform as I'm standing on it, similar to what Bowser's big fat butt does in Mario 3 when he jumps at you, destroying the platform. So he will make full-blown holes in the ground but you should be able to take him out way before he takes out so much ground that you would end up falling through it. He ends up hitting the same spot back-to-back times. Okay, there we go. Giant butterfly moth robot has been taken care of. And the first of Dr. Kozik's stages is completed. As we teleport out. And now we get to see the giant map again. It takes some of the Mega Man games, it takes like 2 seconds to get through the giant enemy map stage, and then other times, they have to play this long, really long song, and then you finally get to see the path drawn, and it's like, come on already. We know what we're doing at this point, especially once we've done 3 other Mega Man games and now doing this one, we can definitely tell. Okay, work my way up here. Climb up this side of the ladder because there is a slide under here. It's a little bit easier. You don't get hit by any of those turning, spinning things. You can hit them from behind. Work up here. That item boost is definitely not worth grabbing, as I'll just slide across the opening there. Kill a random skull guy. Pull out my Rush Jet for the first time, really, and we get to see it in action here. And I'm going to fly the Rush Jet. Full-blown control of it, just like previous things. I'm going to stop it and go back on it and work my way over. Jump up here and grab the item boost. And fall right back on top of it and make my big jump up. As I work my way up, we have these spike-style things, which are pretty easy to follow. Of course, you get to see they flash the color of the arrow they're about to change into, but they're pretty much all set up that you can jump from one to another with pretty relative ease without having, without struggling. You'll see them flash, and right before they turn or whatever, I think they're an easier version of the disappearing blocks, and I much rather deal with these things than those horribly pain in the butt disappearing blocks. But either way, pull up my rush coil to get up here. Of course, there's big giant bowling ball style bats that we've seen in every Mega Man game just about. Bounce on my rush coil there for really just no reason. It just felt like jumping on Rush there. Working my way up here, and there's one of these guys. I'm going to change back to the Mega Buster. Destroy him. And he drops a giant health boost, which I haven't really gotten hit in this level. It's not really a difficult level. There is an energy tank and an item boost and a health boost, but I think I'm good on that. I shouldn't really need them. This boss is a little bit challenging, but even with that, I should be able to get through it, hopefully without using an energy tank. Hopefully. Now that I've said that, I'll probably will have to use at least one, if not two. But, here we go with this robot guy. This guy's a lot of fun. You have to jump inside as it's moving towards, and then jump up on these moving platforms and shoot it in its red flashing eye. It, of course, fires random shots at you as well. It comes at you at different speeds, so you have to be ready. You either have to slide underneath, which is very easy to do, or jump through it as well. And when they start coming really, really slowly at you, then you know it's time to jump inside and get ready to shoot the eye. As it just hit me again. Come on, stop hitting me. Oh, damn you, you're not being very nice. Okay, it's gonna move apart again, and we're just gonna continue this process. It's one of those battles that takes for a long time. Not forever, but a good amount of time. Come at me again, really, really slowly, jump inside, and prepare to take out the giant red flashing eyeball. Hit you a couple more times. I'm doing pretty decently so far. He has less health than I do, so anytime he has less health than I do, that's usually a good thing. Of course, the thing comes barreling at me at as fast a speed as it possibly can. There it comes once again. I'm going to jump inside. And get ready to fire at the eye. There we go, one more. Can I get one more in there? Go on. Oh, good, I actually got 3 in there. Good. Okay, as you can see, I'm draining his health pretty decently now at this point, so he only has a few more hits left to take before he's completely wiped out and we can continue on to the next stage. As it closes in, jump up, fire at it. Come on, one more shot, one more. There we go. Giant weird robot. I don't even know what you call it. Anyway, it's dead, but we warp out of here. And we get a very long pause as we're going to have to wait, of course, for the song to play and the map to draw, so that we can continue on to Dr. Cornshaq stage number 3. If it ever decides to. Pull up the map here. Ah, there we go. Stage number 3. Okay, here we go. This is actually one of the longer of the Cornshaq stages because it's, for the first time really ever in a Mega Man game, we have one of those scrolling style levels, something that you would see in a Mario game, like a Mario 3 for example. You know, of course it has a lot of those scrolling style stages. We actually have a scrolling style stage in a Mega Man game, which is kind of interesting actually. As you can see, giant Russian style buildings in the background again. At least this time they actually look like Russian style buildings and not any questionable content. And you can look at the beautiful color of the sky as I make my way through random spark things that kind of remind me of the spark things from Mario 2 or other previous Mega Man games as well. And we have the cannons and item boosts, and it's a very, very calm, relaxing, slow-moving level that really doesn't have a whole lot of challenge except for the fact that you can't completely fall asleep or else you will fall in a hole, but it's not like it goes very quickly or anything. Random giant robot. Robot, there we go. Slide underneath and climb up the ladder. Work my way over past these stupid buzzsaw things. They're always a pain in the butt. Come on, there we go. Work my way up and over to the right, where we have more scrolling fun. Aren't we having fun yet? We have more scrolling to do. Yay, more scrolling. Anyway, watch out for random platforms that could possibly disappear and fall away from us, as we have these platforms that when we step on them, they rise up into the sky. So always have to be very careful of them, but they're really not that challenging to maneuver around. I usually just wait till I have a good amount of space so that I can make sure that I can time my jumps correctly before, in case I don't want to have to jump before the other platform would have appeared. Shoot the random planet Saturn floating around somehow. Work my way up. More of these platforms to have fun with. Work my way up. jumping again. I'm going to ride this one all the way down to the bottom. Work my way over to the right. An energy tank that I'm just going to skip all together. Don't really need it, so I'm just going to skip the energy tank, and now we're going to head into the actual boss battle for this level, which is a random robot. We actually have to deal with 2 of these random robots, like that walk across the ceiling and the floor. Here's the first one. This one's really, really easy. He fires a spread shot out of the 2 guns on the spread shot out of the 2 guns on the sides and a straight shot down. That's what I was trying to say. And as you can see easily. And I just stand around and keep shooting. After only a few shots, he's taken care of, and we get one from the bottom, which likes to move a little bit quicker. You know, fires a much bigger blast that we have to deal with. But same pretty much concept. He'll maneuver around and all the way across. And just when you jump on these platforms, just stand kind of in the middle so that if you do get hit, you don't end up getting blasted into a hole or something. That's another thing to really be careful of. Boom! And he's kind of the equivalent of those, you know, random ones that we've had to face in the past Mega Man games that slowly deplete a health. As multiple enemies that slowly deplete 1 health bar. Christ, that was harder than I thought it would be. Stumbled all over my words during the course of that boss battle. As we have another great and glorious Dr. Kozak map, staring greatly at this castle, and screen flashes, and now we get to head a very long downward split style path if we want to the flashing star that is Dr. Kozak's stage. Work my way down through a giant opening. This, just like some of the previous final stages of different castles and all, we really don't have a super long stage to really contend with, but they still actually put up a decent amount of challenge, at least in this one. So I'm going to pull out Drill Man's ability to actually grab an energy tank there to be able to continue on here. Go right back to the Mega Buster and take out this guy. Giant freaking robot that likes to crush me again. You've taken out a good amount of those giant robots during the course of this run. Work my way underneath a bunch of platforms and work my way up a couple of ladders here. Okay, continuing on. Watch out for the cannonball style of random bats. But use the rush coil to actually get through this area up here. Drill through. And fall back down all the way down this side to actually be able to get to the next part of the level. Another one of these things, I can use the drill in order to grab an energy tank. Since it's pretty much just there to invite me to use it, I might as well pick it up while I'm there and kill a Slunky. An actual legitimate Slunky, unlike Evil Slunky from a previous Ringman stage. We actually have a full-blown Slunky in this game as well, so I don't know what all of a sudden the creators of Mega Man were doing while making this game, deciding that Slinkies were a great and very powerful enemy to be added to the Mega Man franchise, but I guess they decided Slinkies are evil, and thus Mega Man must shoot them in the face with a blast, if a Slinky even has a face to begin with. I'm not even quite sure about that. Okay, here we go with Dr. C. And we actually get to go one-on-one with Dr. C in his giant, weird-looking style claw machine. And here we go. There's Dr. C inside of his little, inside his machine, and we gotta jump up and shoot him right in the claw area. He's a pretty overall easy boss. He's gonna shoot out a spread shot like he just did, and move around us, and just don't stand underneath him directly, of course, or he'll unleash the mighty power of the claw to end up doing a decent amount of damage to you, but as long as you stay away from that, you should be pretty damn good on it. Move around more, jump up, watch out for spread shot, even though I got hit by it. A few more shots here. Underneath, boom, and boom, that's the end of Dr. Kozak. Proto Man drops in, drops off this little girl. He says, "My father is not really evil. Dr. Wily took him hostage and forced my father to fight you. Please, Mega Man, don't hurt my father anymore." "Oh, Kalinka. Father, Mega Man, forgive me." Dot. "You betrayed me, Proto Man. I'm going to break you, Mega Man. I must break you, Mega Man." Suddenly, apparently, he is Dolph Lundgren from Rocky IV. deciding to destroy us. He must break us, apparently. I don't know what all of a sudden Dr. Wily decided that was the perfect line to be said. But he gets in his UFO, and now, of course, we must do battle with Dr. Wily. And, of course, Dr. Wily has his own castle, which, of course, combines with its own music, its own map screen, and, of course, its own set of stages. So when you thought it was over, no, it has just really begun, right? Either way, here we go with the beginning of Dr. Wily's castle, in Stage 1 of Dr. Wily's castle in Mega Man 4. Random Matul set up there. There we go. Another Matul. Blasting through. As you can see, there is a lot of Matuls, including these ones that like to spin around like they're breakdancing. Of course, breakdancing was beginning to become popular in the late 80s and early 90s, so why shouldn't Matuls get in on the craze and start breakdancing as well? Work my way up to the top and a crossover. Watch out for the random Matul setup. Don't want to run into them unless I have to. Or they decide to jump up and run into me. Either one's good, right? Random Matul bullet as I'm following it all the way across the screen. See how far? Aww. I had to jump back and it disappeared off screen. Jump up and take out that one right there. Jump down this giant gaping hole. Work my way over and splash right into a whole thing of water. We have some more of the scuba diving Matuls that I actually liked from Dive Man stage. Probably one of the few things I actually liked from Dive Man stage. Random Matuls make a long water jump there. Of course, you gotta watch out for the gravity, and of course, there's tons of spikes that are instant death, so a real pain in the butt area, actually. Jump up and grab a hold of this ladder and work my way out of the water. Oh yay, the glorious, glorious fun that is disappearing blocks. But you know what? Screw you. Rush coil. I'm getting out of here. What a shock for another one of these things. And guess what? This time around, I'm pulling out the rush jet. Climb myself right across. Now I'm going to pull up the rush coil. And I'm going to time this correctly that I actually... Okay, I can't rush coil all the way up. But I can rush coil onto these platforms. And I only have to deal with the final two of the disappearing blocks. So a little bit of a way to help me get past this whole area is I'm going to get past this Matul to grab this item boost. To pretty much fully recharge my rush coil. Grab back a hold of the Mega Blaster and work my way over to the right, destroying the Matul in the process. There's some scuba diving Matuls isolated in their own, like, kind of mini tanks. Like there's some kind of an aquarium or something set up in their own tanks. There's the classic Dr. Wily logo as we enter the Dr. Wily boss. And how appropriate for a level full of Matuls that we have a large, humongous, giant Matul as the boss of this level. Of course, when he brings up, when the helmet goes up, there you can shoot him right in the face area and take him out. Of course, he likes to jump around and do stuff as well, and he shakes the ground a little bit, but he's actually really easy to dodge. All the Matuls dodge him as well. He's one of the easiest of these castle stage bosses, because it's kind of hard to just call him Wily stage or Dr. Kozak stage or both or whatever. So just castle stage bosses. As you can see, I'm doing a pretty decent job of being able to take him out without really getting any damage done to me in the process. As I'm waiting for him to pop up and do a whole ton of damage. He just jumps right back over to the top. You can actually jump over the Matuls and then just go away and they disappear, and God knows where they end up. But considering there's like a blank closed up wall to the left of me that I came into, and I don't know what's on to the right side since you'll never get to see it, because as soon as you destroy the giant Matul, as soon as you destroy him, you leave the stage. So I have no idea what could possibly be to the right of this as I turn radioactive again. And as a radioactive force, I get to blast out of there. Okay, now we go on to Wily stage number 2 as this game continues here. As we are about to reach the 1 hour mark, which Mega Man 4 will probably end up being, I think, is easily the longest of the ones I did of Mega Man 1 through 4, even though you had to like backtrack and do some of the same stages over again in Mega Man 3. You still ended up doing it. I think I still ended up doing a lot quicker than I ended up doing, than I ended up doing this game, just because of all the extra Wily Castles things, and probably just because Dr. Kozak's and Dr. Wily's map screens take forever, and showing them adds a good few seconds onto the overall time. And it probably adds an overall good minute extra to the time of the run. There was an energy tank up there if I really needed it, but I'd rather not risk the death that was pretty much imminent if I mess up my jump up there, so I'd rather not mess with it. I'm going to pull out my Rust Jet real quick, fly over and grab a hold of this ladder. Go up here, we got random eddies hanging out, floating around, just doing nothing, grabbing me an extra life there. Climb up these ladders here. Okay, we have a caterpillar, guys, and of course if I jumped up that left side ladder, I would be running right into like a random buzzsaw, so probably good for me that ended up not happening. There's another one of those weird caterpillar guys who's kind of spasming because he's on a very small platform all by himself, with really nowhere else to go, as we have to deal with the mummies from Pharaoh Man stage now, flipping out of the background. There we go, there's another one, there we go, kill him. Slide across, continuing up to the ladder, and continuing up. Okay, cannonball bats, another one, a group of them. Get the rust coil out real quick, just gonna jump up here, so I don't have to really deal with the other platforms. Up here, there's a random skull thing, which thankfully doesn't fall down and hit me on top of my ladder. Take him out and slide underneath. As you can see, this stage is actually pretty long for one of the Wily stages. You know, it kind of made this one that's like its own full-blown stage. Like you haven't even already. It's pretty much like saying you dealt with all those other Wily, Dr. Kozak stages, but they didn't count. That you didn't have to go very long through them. So we're gonna make sure that the Wily stages are just as long, if not longer and harder than all the previous stages you've dealt with up to this point. Gumball Machine Robot, taking him out. As we reach Dr. Wily's door and enter into another one of the Dr. Wily monster bosses for his stage. And we have a giant version of Dustman, pretty much. Not quite. He actually shoots giant, like, red rubber balls that explode out of the top of his head, but climb up and you want to aim not at the absolute top. You want to be aiming at the eye area and that green light on the forehead. Somewhere between those, because seemingly they are the same spot pretty much. So aim towards that, really easy, just gotta keep moving around this conveyor belt. Watch out for the giant rubber balls, they can get a little bit of annoying, but you can see them coming from a mile away, and you can easily jump or just slightly move out of the way. And the big fires that shoot out of his nose area isn't really that hard to dodge either. It's just, a little tedious and time-consuming of jumping up constantly, and I'm sure one of the items would help me greatly. I probably can kill him in a matter of seconds, but the Mega Buster is just as good, or can just do the job just as what we need it to. So use the Mega Buster, and boom, he explodes, and of course I'm radioactive again. And I will teleport out of Dr. Wily stage number 2, as we will now head to Dr. Wily stage number 3. Of course, the skull in full force in the Wily Castle, but for some reason his eyes are actually closed, like they're giant, like shutters for a like a giant garage or something, and they're actually closed, and the eyes are actually closed in this one. As the arrow gets drawn, or the giant line map gets drawn to the skull. Whole bunch of items here to randomly grab. I'm going to grab a hold of the energy tank, why not? Just because it's sitting there, I figured I might as well grab it. Work my way over, there's a little bit of health boost since I got hit there. Work my way down. All the way down. Kill random spinning stupid guys that we've been dealing with throughout the course of the game. Work my way over, and boom, boss time. Really quick, Wily stage, which is a good thing, because here we go, right up here, as we will enter this pod, and can you tell where this is taking us? We're gonna drop down here, and boom, where are we? Well, it's time for the boss rush. Very, very long fall, but it's time for the boss rush. And here we go with the boss rush. I'm gonna start on the upper left side this time. And we start off with Drill Man, an actual, ground type level, so it makes sense for him to be drilling randomly into the ground, actually. And of course, our same strategy as before. We're gonna move around and do damage when he's not popped up, when he's not into the ground, when he's not drilling himself into the ground. As soon as he pops up, do a bunch of damage. Hopefully, he jumps around a little bit and decides, and somehow he's drilling into that area. So even though he has a whole nice ground, dirt-filled area, he decides to ground into the metal style, harder thing than the actual ground type level. He's jumping around a bunch, and now he's going to drill himself back into the ground. Which, as you can see, this is a very easy battle. But if you would like to stay out for more than 5 seconds, I could end this thing really, really quick. Where are you, Drill Man? There you are. Full blast. Do a couple more full charge blasts if I can. Keep jumping, Drill Man. Oh, come on. The ground can't be that good. Come on, you know you want to die. Jump up. Okay, one more good shot. Okay, goodbye, Drill Man. Who didn't even do damage to me, so I really don't even need the item boost. Okay, next up, it's Bright Man. As his health very, very slowly charges up. Okay, Bright Man, same exact thing as before. He's going to jump around. He has a pain-in-the-butt little spread shots he'll shoot out. But his really big pain-in-the-butt thing is, of course, his ability to freeze everyone in place, if he ever decides to do it. There we go. And then pretty much the only way he's going to be able to do anything to me is if he jumps up and hits me or shoots me in the face, one or the other. And you can just see how much damage jumping into me ends up doing. I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of damage. For whatever reason, his body touching me does so much damage. God damn, Bright Man. I'm going to have to use a damn energy tank. God damn, Bright Man all of a sudden being able to do a lot of damage to me. I mean, I have 8 energy tanks, but seriously, what the heck, Bright Man? One more shot, goodbye. Grab the health and move on. I had to use an energy tank at Bright Man. I feel that sucks. God damn it. Oh well, Skull Man time. And with Skull Man, who I go from a guy who, Bright Man, who kicked the crap out of me, I now go to Skull Man, who I usually beat pretty badly, so. Same basic battle as before. He's going to jump around, use his skull barrier, and fire random little tiny shots at us that are really easy to dodge. And of course, unless you're standing right next to him, the skull barrier won't do any damage to you either. Ton easier than Bright Man. Come on, Skull Man. There you go. Shoot him. Watch out for the shots. Fire a full-blown blast at him. Wait for him to come over. He's going to do the skull technique. And one more good shot. If I can get a full blast, there we go. Charge my health back up to full. And now we have the left side of the room done. 3 done, and we still have 5 more to go. As we start off with, Dive Man. Oh, fun. Let's go with Dive Man. Dive Man flies towards us immediately. Hopefully this time I do a lot better than I did the first time around on Dive Man. Hopefully I can destroy these missiles, don't end up killing me, or I don't end up jumping into them like I did last time. Jump around, fire my missiles. I just lost my charge shot at firing a random stupid missile. Come on, Dive Man. Halfway done. Over halfway done, actually. Charge up shot, jump over, charge up shot, fire. Falls underneath of me, jump up and shoot. Another one. Boom, hit him again. One more. There we go. Dive Man is completed. And here we go with, well, it's Toad Man. We go from another one that usually gives me problems to a very easy one again. Kind of interesting the way this is working out here. We got the easiest guy of them all with Toad Man. And the same strategy, just stand near him close and he'll keep jumping around you. Slide underneath, run away in the opposite direction, or run underneath of him as he jumps over your head. And move back and forth. I can just keep moving back and forth in the same spot pretty much, and he'll just keep jumping in the same spots, and I'll just keep blasting him as I slowly drain the total length of his health. Firing more. There we go. He jumps over, another one. Boom, one more shot, and Toadman's eliminated. Okay, now we're over halfway, and we have 3 more Robot Masters left to go. And here we go with Dustman, another one of the easy ones. The first one we dealt with when we started playing this game. We have another easy one here today. Jump up, and anytime he fires his giant garbage cubes at us, we just want to jump in the same spot because as we jump up into the air, of course the shot breaks apart and goes in multiple directions, but none of them go directly up, so Dustman has a really easy to dodge attack. And of course him trying to bring us closer to him is really easy to get away from too, as long as you don't run in the same direction that he's trying to blow you in. Or suck you in. It's just wrong either way you say it. Shoots a garbage cube at us. Fire a big blasted shot. There's another one more shot, and boom, Dustman is done. Next up, I fully charge up my weapon. It's the fun man known as Ringman, who likes to kick the crap out of me sometimes as well. Okay, Ringman. Hopefully this time I don't get my butt kicked nearly as bad as I did the first time around. You gotta be really quick on your jumps, because as soon as he shoots out those rings, they immediately retract, so usually as soon as you land, like the microsecond you land, you need to immediately be jumping once again in order to be able to avoid the rings from actually being able to hit you. As that's what I'm being able to dodge around here, and boom, Ringman's taken out. Somehow the item health boost got frozen in air there. Not really quite sure how that worked out. One more guy left to go. And it's Pharaoh Man, my favorite of all. We did his stage last, and we get to do him last in the boss rush. And actually, this one's easier than the first one because there's no multiple platforms, so I can just stand ground level with him. When he charges up his blast, his spirit bomb type move, he's gonna pull it in towards them, and then as soon as it gets all the particles get close, he immediately fires it. So you have to time your jumping correctly, but as soon as you learn the timing of it, it's really, really easy to dodge, as you can see. He fires, I jump over. He fires, jump over, just keep firing. Every time he does a charge, I get a good few shots in. There we go, one more. There we go. Pharaoh Man is taken care of. Who actually, we need Pharaoh Man, because Pharaoh Man is the ability I will be using last against the final boss of the game. Okay, here we go with a giant, super Wily Skull vehicle. Similar to the previous Flying Skull Wily vehicles that we've seen in past Mega Man games. The first form is very, very easy to dodge. He fires out these giant Mega Blasts, which, as long as you're standing about where I am right now, you pretty much won't get hit unless you jump up into them. And as he fires them, when you get an opening for a split second, jump up and unleash a charged blast right into his big open mouth to do a very good amount of damage, and you can see I slowly deplete it. But of course be on your toes, because you know that this wasn't the only form. You know every other one's had two forms. Why wouldn't this one have two forms? And there we go. And you get to see Dr. Wily piloting it as its health charges up. And here we go. He fires shots in random directions now. So of course, they're a lot harder to dodge. The thing about it is, the reason why this battle ticks me off is you have to jump up really high in order to be able to hit that stupid blast, that button, that turquoise colored button, like right below where Wily's sitting. That's what you have to hit. And you have to make a ridiculously high jump and unleash the blast at your highest point in the jump to be able to actually do damage to him. Jump up and shoot him. Underneath, jump up again and do more damage. He fires random shots at us. Jump up and hit him again. I'm gonna keep jumping. Okay, one more shot and he's taken care of. Come on. Boom, there he goes. His ship explodes, of course. And somehow, of course, he escapes in a random pod. Okay, with him escaping, as you know, not a shock, we have one more final Wily stage to go, and we have one last battle to go against Dr. Wily in Mega Man 4 before we can finally take him out and restore peace to the world by taking out Dr. Wily for a fourth time. Okay, here we go, final Wily stage. As I land in, I'm going to drop down this big hole here. Giant fall here. One of those super giant falls, and work my way over to the right. Random caterpillar enemies are spread out throughout the level, slowly falling from the ceiling. Running and charging at the same time, so I can fire random shots at them as they land. And we get to the end. Okay, just like all the other previous final forms of Wily, there's a certain item that you can use to kill him really easily. And in this one, it's Pharaoh Man's ability. And what's cool about Pharaoh Man, you can actually charge the ability up, and just exactly like a Spirit Bomb, you feel a giant ball over your head. And you can fire it in any direction. So as soon as you see Wily, because he'll move around in different areas, you actually can fire it diagonally, as you've already seen me do. And as you can see, it already does a ton of damage. So as soon as the flash happens, you know where he is, unleash a shot in his direction, and you should be able to hit him. One more good shot, and Dr. Wily will be taken care of. Boom, there he is. He explodes. He flies up into the air. His pod is destroyed. Dr. Wily is defeated. We run over to the left. Dr. Wily falls and grovels at our feet. We see, of course, the same groveling animation that we've seen in every previous Mega Man game up to this point. Dr. Wily is now smiling. He jumps up and he leaves. And, of course, there's danger. He has now self-destructed his castle, so he must escape. Of course, you're going to see Dr. Wily being able to escape in his broken down piece of crap UFO. As he slowly, very, very slowly, falls away and goes off screen, and it explodes. The castle explodes into a giant skull cloud. As you saw Mega Man escape right few seconds before the castle exploded into a giant skull cloud. Mega Man loses his helmet, for whatever reason, and lands on top of a moving train, and the credits begin to roll. As you can see, nicely done backgrounds of mountains and such in the background, slowly changing colors, I guess, as the day would change, going from, I guess, going from day and slowly turning into night and such. Sorry. And we see random credits go by on the bottom. For whatever reason, Mega Man decides the best way to get himself home is to take a train. And doesn't buy a ticket or anything. He just decides to jump on top of a train and ride it for whatever direction it would be going in. It doesn't even matter, right? Scroll Designer. It's a weird one. As we drive into a major city. And you can see Mega Man just doesn't even move. No matter what's going on, nothing stops Mega Man from moving around. I like Miss Dot 21 and Tuckhap. Random names that are done for the credits. We have Special Designer here. Oh no. We have our Special Designer. Mega Man now passed the city, and now as it's now going from dark and going from night into day. So Mega Man spent a whole day and a whole night, and now going back into the next morning of another day spent riding this train. As this train makes no stops, ever. This train continues to barrel on no matter what's going on. Nobody gets off of this train, no. Not until it makes its final stop, and that takes forever. We have Kiro-chan, apparently, from Card Captor Sakura, apparently worked on this game. And it finally stops. Rush and Roll come over to welcome Mega Man. Mega Man jumps off the train. It turns, sepia or whatever, yellowish. And now we have more staff. I thought we just had credits. Well, no, we got staff of the Robot Masters. We get to see their number, just like all the previous Mega Man games. Get to see their number, and I guess their designer is listed as well. And we get to see all 8 of the Robot Masters displayed. There's Toadman. Anyone find it funny that Rush helped greet you along with Roll? The fact that you actually were using Rush in the Wily's castle? Like, did somehow Rush get teleported to home, and yet Mega Man got randomly teleported to a train? It's like, what exactly happened with that? That doesn't really make much sense to me. Number 26 is Pharaoh Man. Hey, look, it's number 28. We got Ring Man. There's Dust Man, who comes in at number 30. I like the way the random numbers are jumping here, it seems like. There's Dive Man at number 31. And here we go with Skullman at number 32. And that wraps up the Robot Masters. We now have a Starry Sky where we get to see the final end of the credits. Of course, the special thanks, as it kind of glitches from the bottom to the top. I don't really know what the heck's going on with that exactly. Kind of weirdly glitching. But anyway, as you can see, all the billions of special thanks they give out to every single person, it seems like, on the planet that worked on this game. And the credits are going to round up here as the ending has continued on, and we get presented by, and yeah, presented by no one apparently. Oh wait, here comes Eddie to fill in the letters. CAPCOM, Capcom, presented by Capcom. And with that, that's going to wrap up another edition of Play It Through. It's going to wrap up the month of Mega Man for this year. And of course, I hope you enjoyed.